In this 5-minute demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate deploying a Microsoft Active Directory Rights Management Service, or ADRMS server. Part of that installation is going to be creating and registering the service connection point within the Active Directory database. I'm then going to create a rights template and make that available to a client machine. I'm then going to apply ADRMS protection to a Word document. So the first part of the process is to first of all create a DNS record for my ADRMS server, as well as a service account for my ADRMS server. So I've gone into my domain, which is harkit.co here, and I'm creating a record called ADRMS. Obviously it could be any address you actually wanted. I'm going to use the IP address of my member server, which is 10.0.0.1. And my member server is going to be my ADRMS server. So I've created a record for my ADRMS server. I'm also going to create an old style service account. So I'm going to create a user account. Also going to use the name ADRMS for that as well. And I'm going to give that account a password. And because this is an old-fashioned style service account, I'm going to set it to have a non-expiring password. So there is the service account I'm going to use, and I've created my DNS entry as well. So this is my domain controller. I'm going to switch over to a member server, and using that member server, I'm going to add the Active Directory Rights Management Service. So I'm going to add role or feature. I'm going to choose Active Directory Rights Management Services. Just need to install ADRMS. I'm not using any federated identities, so I don't need identity federation support at this stage. Click next and then install. Once the installation is finished, I'm going to complete the configuration of the server. And here I'm going to choose the URL that will be used by my users, as well as that service account which I've pre-created. So I'm going to click next. I'm going to create a new ADRMS root cluster. I'm going to use the Windows internal database, but I could also specify the location of a SQL server if I had one on my network. And this is going to be the user account that I've just created, which use the following credentials. I'm going to use cryptographic mode 2. This is going to control whether or not this ADRMS cluster can interact with older ADRMS servers. I'm going to assume in my environment this is going to be the only ADRMS server, so I'm going to use the strongest cryptographic mode possible. I'm going to use ADRMS to manage the keys, and I'm going to specify an ADRMS password and just confirm that password. I can use the default website on this machine, it's not doing anything else, and because this is going to be just a simple demonstration, I'm keeping that to an unencrypted connection, and this is going to be the name of my ADRMS server, which is that DNS record I registered a short while ago. So adrms.harkit.co. In reality I'd probably want to use an SSL connection to the ADRMS server, and it is a requirement, as you can see there, if you are using identity federation as well. So that's the name that's going to appear on the server certificate, which is the name of this machine, and I'm going to tell it to go and register my service connection point in Active Directory. Now this needs to be written into the configuration partition of the Active Directory database, which means I must be running this as a member of the Enterprise Administrators group if I want to register it now. I'm logged in as a member of the Enterprise Administrators group, so I should be able to click next and then click install. Now that's finished. Rather unusually, I need to log out and then log back in again to complete the configuration. So I'm just going to sign back out of my ADRMS server and then sign back in again. And if I open the ADRMS management console, see my ADRMS server is up and running. So the next thing I'm going to need to do is to create some rights policy templates. Now these templates can be used by my users to apply standardized restrictions to the documents that they create. So I'm going to create a distributed rights template here. This is going to be an English language template, so I can choose the variation of English that the user's locale will be set to on their version of Office, or depending on what application they're using. I'm going to call this Harkit Public Documents. So this policy applies Hark IT's standard restrictions to publicly accessible documents. And I could have that a French template identification, a German, etc., etc. So click next. Here I'm going to say this applies to anyone who opens the document, except for the author, who's always going to have full control. I'm going to say this template is going to apply just a view restriction to anyone who applies the template. I'm also going to say that it expires after 7 days. And then I'm going to click finish. So I've now created a distributed template. To demonstrate this on the client machine, I'm going to first of all load up Internet Explorer of all things. I'm going to go to my Internet options, and I need to make sure that my ADRMS server is listed in the local intranets zone in my security settings. Otherwise my user will receive an error message when they attempt to use the ADRMS server. So I'm just adding adrms.harkit.co to my trusted sites as my local intranet list. I'm going to click OK there. Using Microsoft Word, I would then create my document. I'm currently logged in as a user called Keith Richards. I'm just going to click on the File menu there. I'm going to say I want to protect this document by connecting to an ADRMS server. You'll see I'm currently logged in as Keith. So this is connecting to my ADRMS server. If I then drop down the ADRMS Protect Document menu, I can now apply the Harkit Public Documents restriction policy to this document, and then save that on the local hard drive of this machine. So I'm going to just put that on the in a folder on my C drive called Docs. I'm just going to call it Demo. Okay. If I click View Permissions, you see I'm the author, I have full control permission there. However, if I sign out and log in as a different user, which I'm going to do here, I'm going to sign in as Richard. If I now browse and open that same document, you'll see that those restrictions will apply to my account. There will also be a message that pops up when I open the document advising me that this document is attempting to access an external service. Obviously we need to be prompted if Word documents are communicating with the outside world. So I'm going to log in with my domain credentials. The document has appeared, and you can see there I can see why the document has restrictions on it. It also tells me when my permissions are going to expire on that document as well. If I attempt to use the snipping tool in Windows 10 to create a copy of that, you'll notice it greys out the interface, so I can't see what's going on. If I attempt to copy and paste the content, I can select it, I can try and copy it, but it won't actually allow me to paste that. You notice paste is greyed out. I also can't print the document either because I have view only permission. That's the end of the demonstration. I hope you found it useful. Any questions, please leave comments below. Thank you very much.